this one is just pure chaos. I'm not gonna lie, I was there and I was like, this is gonna be good.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Joey Nolfi with Entertainment Weekly. Today we are talking with the brand new cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15, and I am here with the lovely and legendary Miss Sasha Colby of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15, and also many, many other things like Miss Continental, Sasha Velour's Nightgowns TV series, so much more. I mean, Sasha, you are a drag icon. You already know that, but thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's amazing. Finally.
I know, right? I know. Finally. I'm just so honored to be in your presence. And did you, I have to know, did you feel that same sense of awe from the other queens when they saw that Sasha Colby was walking into that workroom? Were they like, oh my God, okay, it's over?
Well, ask the other gals, but it was kind of funny because everyone, when I went to the table, the work table, everyone kind of like spread out and we all said hi, everyone, and then production was like, can you cut? It looks like a Sasha Colby meet and greet in here. Can you all like crowd around the table? So that was kind of funny, but I must say it is really nice to see that, like, see all the other girls appreciate, and they all got good taste, so.
Clearly, look at the material. I do love the idea of turning Drag Race into a Sasha Colby meet and greet.
I mean, it's perfect for DragCon. My meet and greet is a Sasha Colby meet and greet.
Yes. We're getting ideas already. Now, for everyone watching, though, like, you need to learn your history. Sasha is one of the community's finest. She won Miss Continental, perhaps the most esteemed drag pageant in the entire world. You've been doing drag for 20 years. You're so deep into your career, so I have to know, Drag Race at this point in your career, what made now the right time for you to audition and go on Drag Race?
I think timing is everything, especially with passion, with what you love, and you have to find that wave that's your wave. And I had to wait for a lot of seasons for my wave to come, but I knew at this moment it was the right time to audition. The conversation in the world, about having trans visibility, and really seeing my daughter, first and foremost, my good friend and roommate, Sonique, also, yes. Carrie, Sonique, and there's Got Mick, and all of them were telling me, you should audition, and seeing people that represent who I am in drag. It felt like, okay, well maybe there is now a seat at the table for me.
Yeah, and you've said before that you felt almost like a responsibility to be a sort of teacher about trans identity in the drag scene. So what do you hope to teach the people watching Drag Race about trans women in drag?
Well, I knew at an early age that being trans, you would have to be a source of education for a lot of people, especially growing up in the 90s, early 2000s. There wasn't really any vernacular even to express who I am and what we were all feeling. So I just hope that my showing on Drag Race really allows everyone to see that drag is an art form, and it has and sees no gender. It's a form of creation that is just so beautiful and magical, and was a form of comfort when we were oppressed, and actually was built on misogyny, if you really think about it, like theater, like ancient Rome and ancient Greece, but we queers took it back, and it really started with trans women and trans performers. We were all much more together as one, fighting this outside force, where now we get the luxury of not having to survive. So now we're kind of like turning on each other and really kind of trying to like compartmentalize everything, when really drag is just so much about art, and it's about creation. And I mean, I would be a girl and work at the bank. That's not the point. I just happen to really love drag, and I love being a performer, and so I happen to be trans.
Yeah, no, and I think that aesthetic and all of that stuff is going to come through in your artistry, as it does a lot in your lip syncs. I mean, you have to go check out some of her stuff that's online. I mean, it is just incredible. And I also think it's interesting that you said you were raised Jehovah's Witness in Hawaii. So how did both of those things, that religious upbringing and living in Hawaii, how did those things influence the person you are today and also your artistry?
Well, I think being Native Hawaiian, growing up in a Hawaiian family, Hawaiian community, my dad is Hawaiian, my mom is half Hawaiian, half white. So I feel like that really connected me with my ancestors, my culture, and understanding the third sex that was very common in Hawaiian practice, in Hawaiian culture. There was a space for queer people. We were always, the men and women would go to war in Hawaii to fight against different tribes, but really they left all the kids with all the mahus, which is all the queer people. Because what is more divine and who can understand both genders and someone who flows in between that?
Yeah.
So I always felt a connection with that, and even though religion kind of took that away from my upbringing, because really religion wipes out any sort of, it's like colonization, so it wipes out all the indigenous traits that are like innate to us. So I really like loved religion for giving me a great structure and a lot of great morals and values, but then I knew which ones weren't for me, and that's when I tapped into being Hawaiian and really understanding what's running through my veins.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that, given the last question, this is already Professor Sasha Colby giving us the history of the Hawaiian culture.
Such a nerd.
Yeah.
I mean, ask me anything. I kill at Jeopardy. I can't wait.
I would love to see that, actually, a drag version
I'm perfect at bar
Jeopardy.
trivia. I'm your girl.
I think we have to talk about, though, I mean, what makes you a legend, part of it is just these performances. I mean, I've been in the audience seeing you perform live. It's next level. The internet still goes crazy for your Angels and Men Fierce 212 performance from Miss Continental, which just celebrated its 10-year anniversary. I mean, that's wild. You also have an iconic performance of My Mind at Sasha Velour's Nightgowns with just you and a chair. You called it stripper lyrical, which I think is really amusing. So what the hell does that mean?
Well, that's kind of my aesthetic in general, is like a lyrical stripper. It's that girl who did ballet, but you know, she gotta pay the bills. Even strippers have heartache. You know, even like people that are looked at as, you know, images of lust, they're still going through feeling not wanted by somebody or something. So I always like to take the idea of what I present, which is, you know, goddess, fierce woman on stage, and I like to crack that character and give it a little life and see how we like get out of it. And I love using performance and my drag as like my therapy. I love like working through shit and having everybody watch it. You can really see it a lot better in playback.
Yeah, it's always like a therapeutic.
It is. It's
stripper lyrical.
definitely cathartic. Definitely stripper.
Cathartic and stripper. Those are the words of season 15. You also do, you are so well known for your hairography, which is just, you've cornered the market on that. So can you do it now and walk us through like good hairography? This
is a contraption, but I'm usually a lot more free in my hairography, but it's really, the funny thing is, like, I came up with it because I kept on wearing lip gloss, and it just kept on going like this, so it's really just moving the hair out of the way. I hope this doesn't fly off right now.
I wish I could do it. I can't.
But
My
it's
hair is
actually just out of
down.
like, get it off of me. And then it became a thing, and now I'm gonna milk it.
So it all started just to not get the hair stuck on lip gloss.
It really was.
It's a practical explanation for everything. You are synonymous, though, with the art of great lip syncs. So, but not speaking it into existence, we don't want to spoil anything, but if Sasha Colby is forced to lip sync on Drag Race, like, then the other girls had to have been scared at that point.
Already nobody wanted to lip sync against it. They were like, oh God, let's not have that happen. And I was glad that they didn't want that to happen as much as I did.
Yes.
But we'll see.
Because that would be like, I mean, and again, not spoiling anything, we have no idea, but like, if Sasha Colby lands in the bottom two and there is a lip sync, I mean, I feel like that's just like, there's no going against that.
I mean, well, that's the place where I'm the most myself and the most safe. So, that's kind of what I was telling myself through the getting ready process. Like, worst case scenario, because I was really worried about the snatch game and all those things and the things that you actually have to show up for. And I was really nervous. I'm like, well, if anything happens, worst case scenario, I'll be on the bottom, and then that's like what I do, you know, and I'll figure it out from there.
Is there also a weird part of you too that's almost just like, you know, I kind of want to be in the bottom too, just to show what I can do.
No, can watch my videos. I'm okay in the back here. Thank you. We'll just YouTube it.
Yes, just YouTube it. Yes, okay. We won't put Sasha through that trauma. Now, I remember doing this round of interviews with Carrie last year, and we talked quite a bit about you. She told a sweet story about the first time she met you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
She left home. She said she ran up to you on the street
Sure
and just
did.
said you were the most beautiful person in the world. And years later, you adopted her as a drag daughter. So what do you remember about, I have to get the other side of that story now of meeting Carrie that first night.
I don't remember that at all. And she knows it. We talked about it. It was because it was so random. I was judging a pageant in Dallas, and she heard I was there. I was crossing the street. She ran up to me, and like she was a baby, you know. So I was just kind of thinking, you just don't really like process it. So I just thought they were really nice. Then I saw, all of a sudden I started seeing her more on social media, and then she moved. Then I saw her like in Geesh, and I was like, well, you're a Colby. And she didn't really perform or anything. And she didn't transition yet, but I could tell something was up. And like a couple months later, I get the call that I gave my drag mother. Same call.
Yeah, I think she said something about that, like you just knew about it.
Yeah,
Like you had a feeling.
yes. I mean, you can, a lot of people can tell things about you before you can.
Yeah.
You're not ready to see it yet.
Yeah. As a mama, though, were there moments from season 14 where you wish you could have been there and been like, Carrie?
Oh,
girl.
I mean, no, not at all. Just because, like, I was so proud of her and what she did. I was really just so happy to see her living and being such this like bright person, narrating the whole season. I thought
Of
it was
course, with
hilarious.
narrator Carrie Colby,
Yeah,
yes.
she's great. She was fantastic, and she did exactly what she was supposed to do, and she's making it work. Like she's going for it. I'm so proud of her.
Her line reading of a dragonfly is in my head still to this day, constantly on repeat. I never look at it.
You gotta make that a ringtone, right?
Yeah, I
Like an alert.
How do you know it's not my ringtone? It could be. Now, what do you think was your proudest moment for her on season 14?
Honestly, as the older cast member this season, and who is known for being like the motherly person, I was really proud to see how she did to the other girls who were coming to terms with being trans.
Yeah.
I saw her be me, like how I was to her, and I was so proud that like she got to understand what that meant to help someone find themselves, and now she's stuck with a whole bunch of kids, just like me.
Mama Bear begets Mama
Yes.
Bear. That had to have felt so great to you, though, to see Carrie be part of. I mean, it was a historic moment on Drag Race last season with 5 trans queens on one
insane.
season.
And I was like asking anyone this season, does anybody want to be trans? Who's gonna turn trans by the end of the season? No one wanted to. So it went from like 5 to 1 lone trans.
It doesn't work the same way with Sasha. Carrie touches someone, and it doesn't work with Sasha.
I know.
Now, because you are the sort of, like you're saying, the mama bear this season, do those sensibilities come out? Are you like whipping the children into shape? They're not trying it with mother?
Those kids. No, they try mother. A couple of them try mother. But it's much welcome because that's half of what drag is.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta have the stamina to stay up in heels and read a girl, like at the same time, and not, you know, you gotta be quick.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that. But like everyone felt that they could talk to me, and I felt really like lovely that my aloha spirit, my motherly instincts, whatever you call it, my good vibes, you know, it worked.
Yeah. Well, I hope that they were happy to talk with you because they paid for the meet and greet. So
You know, actually they didn't.
oh no.
Expect an invoice, gals.
So what about season 15 do you think is going to step it up from season 14? Like, how is this season going to gag the children?
I love every season, and I enjoy watching, you know, for some seasons it's like, oh, I love all the fashion, or I love like the drama, or this one is just pure chaos. I'm not gonna lie, I was there, and I was like, this is gonna be good. Like, I was like invested. I don't know if like, you know, just because you're there, but I just felt like we are a fun group of people, really, really love each other, but definitely a family, like, families fight and then families get over it, and I love that. And it's just so nice to see that all 16 of us are gonna be, hopefully, very good friends for a very long time. I don't want to jinx it and be like, I've had sisters for life. Then we all don't talk in a year.
So it sounds like Untucked is going to be good this season.
Oh, it's going to be unraveled. Untucked and unraveled.
Untucked the sequel, Unraveled. So after, I've been asking this question to everybody, I think it could lead to an interesting answer with you because you do have so much experience, but now after having competed, if you could go back to the Sasha Colby that walked into the workroom on day one and say something to her with the experience of Drag Race season 15 behind you, what would you say to that, Sasha?
I would tell that girl that was ready to turn the corner, to turn into the workroom, to relax. Like, in the beginning, I was really, really putting a lot of pressure on myself, feeling the weight of being the first Native Hawaiian on, the first, you know, like, older trans woman on, all these things that I just felt I was really like hard on myself, and I was like getting really out of my head. And then there was a second that it clicked, one of the episodes, one of those weeks that I was like, oh, come on, we're having fun. Like, this is what we do all the time. This is like what I've been doing, locking myself in my room since I was running home from school as a kid. Like, this is fun. We're having fun.
Yeah.
We're having fun. That's what I would say.
Great.
We're having fun.
I love, though, it must be a good season, though, if even Sasha Colby is walking through the door and getting shook already. Like, you know it's going to be a good season.
Shooketh. Shooketh.
Well, Sasha, thank you so much for chatting with me. This was such a lovely conversation, and stay tuned for more from the cast with RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15.